the order just a little bit again, because we got another person coming in that's got kind of a limited schedule and whatnot. So we have Ginger Barbosa here actually as well, who is going to present for her side of things. So then she's actually running in, I believe the 15th district. Is that right? Yeah, Jennifer Barbosa, 15th district. And so we're going to have her come up and just kind of present a little bit from her side of things. So we actually do have a candidate. Just kind of quick background and stuff. We do have a candidate that's been endorsed, but part of that is that even if we have worthy candidates, kind of it's in some ways a first come first serve for the primary. So whoever gets past the primary, if there's more worthy candidates for the general, then we would consider for endorsing again. So Ms. Jennifer Barbosa, here we go.
Thank you so much. You said 2-3 minutes?
We got 5 minutes for you.
5 minutes, okay. Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Barbosa. I know a lot of you, a lot of candidates here. It's nice to see everyone. When I got into this race, the first person who called me actually was a man named John Dennis, who's the chair of the National Party of, the national chair of the Republican Liberty Caucus. And he said, Jen, I didn't know you were running for this seat. You gotta call my friends out down there in Florida. And I said, okay, I will. And he said, yeah, they'll endorse you. And I said, no, John, they actually already endorsed. They endorsed before the qualifying period. So I understand that. I understand your procedure. But he encouraged me to reach out anyway and introduce myself to everyone and you know, just tell a little bit about my background and answer any questions you might have. So my name is Jennifer Barbosa. I'm running for Congress here in the 15th district. Well, there in the 15th district. We're a little bit outside the district right now. The candidate who the RLC endorsed, who's running against me, is James Judge. I'll tell you a few differences between us and a few differences between me and the incumbent. She's the main target. We're trying to primary Laurel Lee. So I am the only candidate in this race who actually lives in the district. I didn't think I was going to be very proud of that. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but it is. I think it's very important to live in the place you represent. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area. I lived out in California for a while, where I first held public office. I was elected to local office, a seat there called Neighborhood Council. And then in 2015, when Donald Trump hit the scene, that's when I first registered as a Republican. That was my guy, and I've been voting for Donald Trump ever since. In 2020, I decided to run against my congressman there in Los Angeles, and that was Adam Schiff. And there are not enough Republicans in Adam Schiff's district to beat him. So I decided to run as independent. It did not work. He still won, but I gave it my all. And then I came back here to Florida to be with my family a few years ago. A big difference between me and every other Republican, every other candidate in this race, is that I am very vocal, and I put it on my literature, and I tell everyone wherever I go. I believe 2020 was stolen, January 6th was a setup, and the COVID lockdowns were a complete scam. Ooh. And I think we all know that, whether we say it aloud or not. Say it louder. Say it louder. That's the point, is they're not saying it loudly enough. And if they're afraid to say it, they're going to be afraid to act on it and stand up for our constitutional rights if there is another theft, another scam, or another setup. And we know that there will be. Speaking of constitutional rights, I'm endorsed by Sheriff Richard Mack, who is the founder and president of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. I'm also endorsed by Pastor Don Hazen, who is the founder of United Pastors of America. And I don't know if we have time for Q&A or if I've used up my 5 minutes. But
just 2.5 minutes so far. So yeah, there's time for Q&A if you want. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You mentioned January 6th, and a lot of us have friends who are in prison right now.
Yeah.
From January 6th, which is the most egregious thing I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. As a military man, it makes me sick what's happened to those gentlemen. What will you do if you're elected to Congress to get justice for our January 6ers?
Well, I think that we should have reparations for our January 6ers.
Ooh.
And I mentioned this when I was doing a little online debate with James, and he said, no, we shouldn't, we're fiscal conservatives, we should not be spending more money, but it does not have to come out of our pockets. It can come out of the budget for the DOJ. So I believe that they've earned that, the January 6ers. We know that they've, by and large, been, you know,
How about the paychecks?
Possible.
How about the paychecks for the top of the DOJ starting down, taking for every one of those senior executives who oversaw this witch hunt? take it out of their paychecks.
Well, they shouldn't even have jobs anymore.
They should be fired, in prison for it, but.
Wow, yeah.
Will you go for further investigation, actually charge
Yes.
them with treason?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of investigation that needs to be done. I was just
But
talking.
our
to-
investigation's going nowhere right now, Jen.
I was just.
Nothing, it's happening.
It's not, because we don't
It's a
have
joke.
Republicans in office who are pushing for it. I was just
Yeah.
talking to we've all heard the stories, the anecdotes. I was just talking to a
Sick.
J6er who said he was on the ground there. He was one of the guys, the FBI came, and held his family, his little
Mhm.
baby at gunpoint. He lives in Clearwater.
Yeah, James Brett.
James, yeah.
I know them well.
And, he was telling me that they were the officers or the assets were shooting they were shooting pepper bullets into the crowd at the Patriots, at the J6ers. But the pellets were not dispersing the way they do. Perhaps they were old, they were just, there was moisture or they were stale. And he saw a pepper bullet go through a man's cheek.
Right.
These are patriots. These are, so there's a lot of investigation that needs to be done, and it starts by electing people who want to have the investigations instead of a theater.
Cool. Yeah, you do still have half a minute. Do we have
Oh, great.
any more questions, or?
Well, in case anyone's wondering, I'm a paralegal. I live in
Oh.
Plant City, and, I'm gonna think of a million things after I leave, but I don't wanna take up too much time, so if anyone has any questions, I'll be here.
Yeah, and you're definitely welcome to stay. It's actually a very interesting set of people, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, thank you so much, Lillian.
All right, thank you.